So what we're going to want to do is get back into your site. So you're going to open up local, just click on this and then hit start site. So it'll be started. That'll be good. The other thing we want to do is actually be able to write our code. So to get to the code, just right click over top of the site and go to show folder. It should show a folder. And that way you can find where your stuff is. So there's my last name theme site. So I'm just going to double click on that. Then app, then public, then content, then themes, and then you'll see your theme right here. Now, instead of double clicking on it and dragging each one in, what we can do is pull this over, open up Visual Studio Code, and then take the whole folder and just drop it into here. I'm just going to minimize this, drop it into there, and it's actually going to have, let's close out of this, okay. It's going to have, if I click and drag this over, it'll have all of my stuff in there, all right? So I'm just going to close these out right now, and then we can just open them up individually. But it'll have, that'll bring that folder in it, and then I can very easily access all of the various elements, okay? So that's what we want to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and we'll just start with index. I'm just going to grab the index, and I just want to add, basically what I want to do is just add classes and IDs so that I can apply my CSS to it without too much of a headache, okay? So let's go ahead and fix this up first. So I'm just going to say PHP, and then I'm actually going to go out of PHP so that I can put a div in here, and we're going to make a class, and we're going to call it theme content, all right? So basically, if I need to target any of my theme content, PHP, that I can access it there, and then I'm gonna have to do the same thing basically here, space, and then we're gonna go into PHP mode, run get header, then we're gonna go out of PHP mode, then we'll be in HTML mode, then we're gonna go back into PHP mode, we're gonna run the loop, then after the loop I need to get out of PHP mode, and then I have to close that div, okay? Then we can go back into PHP mode, PHP, like that, and then, you know, back out of it again, okay? So the idea here is that if I make my opening div, I have to make the closing one. And I want the loop, which is the thing that's going to enter my title and my content of my each page, basically the page that we create inside of WordPress. I want that wrapped inside of this div. So I have to, you know, call the header first so that it gets the header, then run this div, then go ahead, add the page in, and then close out the div, and then call the footer afterwards, okay? So now let's do the header and footer. So I'll click on the header, and the header is, we're just gonna add a couple of things in here. So I wanna add something that's gonna allow me to access the custom logo here. So inside, before we go into the PHP here, I'm just gonna add another div. I really probably could have just added to that, but we're going to add another one in here just because. So we'll do a div class equals quotes, and we're going to do, oops, actually not a class. We're going to do an ID equals quotes, and we're just going to call it logo image. The reason I'm doing an ID and not a class, most of the time they want you to use classes, and I could do a class. It would have been perfectly fine. But the reason why I'm doing an ID is because there's only one of these, right? There's only going to be one logo image that I'm going to use, and it's just going to go up in that one corner, okay? So that's why. I'm just going to take this whole thing, I'm just going to tab it in so it's a little bit easier to see, and then I'm just going to go ahead and close my div here, okay? So just inside of the column, I'm going to put this div, and then I'll have it run the PHP that runs the logo, okay? So, and then, you know, we go in PHP, run PHP code, go out of PHP, and then we run the closing div. Make sure you're tabbing everything nicely, because otherwise it's going to be really difficult to tell what's going on. So we have this row. There's the first column. Here's the second column. Okay. So now for this, I just want to add, again, kind of the same thing as this. Right after I do my column, I want to add a div before my nav bar so that that will hold my nav bar. Not that it's like, oops, why'd you go in so far? Div ID equals quotes, and we'll call it theme menu. All right. The main thing with these is you want to make sure And then let's go ahead and make sure the UL starts here, UL ends there. So I'm gonna grab this whole UL, I'm gonna tab it in, and then enter, and I'm gonna close my div like that, and I'm just gonna make sure that this matches up with this one. When you are coming up with these names, you just want to make sure that they're a unique name that you don't think anything else is going to use, because otherwise you'll have conflicts and yours either won't work or it'll run over top of something that you don't want it to run over top of. You know. So anyway, that's what we're looking for. I want to put the we can actually, well, I want to put this over that. So just make sure that you're lining these up so you can tell, like, okay, that's where this is where the row went, so on and so forth. All right. So we'll call that good. You know what I didn't do? Make sure you hit Control S, Control S, or do File Save. Make sure you're saving after. I forgot to save on the previous one. Now I'm going to go ahead and do footer. Footer is the easiest one of all. So right after, well, actually, I guess I did it before the row, because I want it to be the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and just do a div class equals quotes, and we're just going to call it theme footer. And then again, I'm going to grab, so this row goes to here, and grab the whole row, tab it over, and that way I can go like this to close it out, and I can tell like this is where this starts and ends. Put a space there just so it's a little more obvious, and that'll make it a little bit easier. Okay, so I just added theme footer to wrap around basically the whole thing. Now you might want to, like, I'm not going to do it now, but, you know, if I had done more with the sidebars, if I want like the left sidebar to be able to control something and the right, you know, you could add more of these, but I'm just kind of adding basic ones that should allow me to just be able to target the elements within them a little bit easier. Okay, so just make sure you save that. And that is all of the HTML adjustment I think we're going to need. Yeah, so that should be good as far as that is concerned, and we'll go to the next one.